Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the B-Main, 2 in 1 week. I actually think that's a milestone for Gavin and I. I don't think we've ever done 2 episodes in 1 week. And so hopefully here in the near future, we'll be getting you race update episodes and guest interview episodes. We're continuing to grow, continuing to meet and make new connections. But what we're talking about today, Gavin and I got to see each other at North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll recap our weekends and how much fun we had and everything that we saw. Caden Honeycutt sweeps the Cars Tour second time in his career, second time in Cars Tour history. Carson Kvapil gets his first breakthrough win after many have fallen through at Indianapolis. Corey Heim gets his second Cup win of the season, second in career through only 15 starts, only the second driver to ever do that, and the last driver was in 1969. Justin Grant gets his 100th USAC win at the Indy Dirt Track, and Carson Brown continues to dominate in the ASA Stars Super Series. So, lots to cover for Gavin and I today, and a few of them are a couple weeks old, but obviously Gavin and I had taken a little bit of a break, but now we're back, and some of these moments they really stood out to us and some things that we really wanted to talk about. But we'll start with North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah, dude, it's funny, I didn't realize you were going to be at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I was terrible about communicating. Legitimately.
You said something about, I feel like you said something even on like your Snapchat story or something to somebody else, and I saw it and I was like, why didn't you tell me you're going to be in Wilkesboro? You're like, well, I just now found out I was going.
Well, okay, so let me tell you how it happened. So, about a week before, at the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 at the end of June, me and Chase Folsom were there, and I was telling him I was thinking and considering going to Wilkesboro because I thought it'd be really cool. I'd be able to go to the Cars Tour event, talk to Eric Brennan and Blake McCandless again, hang out with them, and obviously be a race fan for the truck and the Cup Series. And I love short track racing. North Wilkesboro is such a historic facility, and it was a place that was easily on my list of a place I wanted to go. And so he was like, okay, well, let me try to persuade you a little bit further. He said, I'm going to dirt races on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of that week. And he said, if you want, you could come right after your Sobo race, because we'd have a Sobo race 2 weeks later, and then the following week would be North Wilkesboro. He said, if you want, you can come down to my house that Sunday. We'll go to the Schaefer's Southern National Super Dirt Series, the first 3 races, Sunday, Monday through Tuesday, hang out Wednesday, and then he said, we'll go and we're camping out at Wilkesboro with a couple of my friends. And I said, well, you've convinced me. So I figured it out, and I actually spent some of the early days in the week door dashing. But that's how I decided. And then I kind of forgot about it, got into Sobo mode of calling the race, doing everything. For the next 2 days before a Sobo race, I really locked down. And I'm like, nothing else is happening really except for the work I'm doing in the week and then the Sobo race itself. So then I texted Gavin because he saw something about me being at Atlanta, which I'll get into that story in a bit. And he was like, what? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be at Wilkesboro, by the way, too.
And I was like, I'm going to be in Wilkesboro. So, like, dude, we got to hang out.
And I'd completely forgot because Gavin 2 weeks before was like, yeah, we're taking a break from the podcast. And I was like, he was like, I'm not going to be able to record anyway because I'm going to be gone. And I know when Gavin's gone, he's going to races. And he had already told me he was doing stuff with Victory Junction. So that means he's doing stuff for NASCAR. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, so I was out there for 2 weeks at Victory Junction. The first week, doing a lot of really cool content with some campers, a lot of like short interviews with the kids. A lot of the ones that were with the older campers we're going to use as kind of feature pieces, maybe turn some of them into written pieces that go out just to our camp donors, camp parents of campers, former campers, things like that. And then some of the stuff for younger kids is going to be stuff that's usually just little clips of it are going to be used for social media content. But one thing I want to talk about, because it was really cool as a short track fan to hear this from a camper, it was a little girl. She was probably 8 or 9 years old, and I was talking to her for an interview. And at the end of it, one of my questions that I asked every camper, if you could invite anybody to camp, who would it be? And she goes, Garrett Albertson, because he was born with a cleft lip like me. And I was like, she said Garrett Albertson. I was like, okay, I want to be your best friend now because, like, you're a little kid, Wheel. And she said that, and I was like, wow.
Which, when you told me that story, I thought was so cool because I think that's one of the big purposes of Victory Junction. And
Yeah,
one part of
it's like
y'all's big mission statement of allowing
every
kids
kid.
that aren't quote unquote perfect or have disabilities,
Yeah, yeah,
which by the way nobody's perfect. A disability is what I should really use there.
yeah. No, I
That
get you.
they can connect and correlate with drivers who also have those stories, and without
Mm.
foundations like Victory Junction, a girl like her would have never known that about Garrett Alperson. Those are some
I
of the
think she
connections they
knew
help
because
make.
she was, a race fan,
Oh yeah, but I'm
so she
saying
knew.
like that
Yeah, no,
helped
I
her make
got you.
that connection.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but yeah, it was. Dude, that was a really cool moment to me, and I was like, man, that's like, it's just one of those moments you realize, like, as a race fan, how small but big the racing world is at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, Gary Albertson's a very successful dirt late model guy, but you're not expecting some random little kid you meet to know who he is, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
And so it was really cool. It was just a cool moment.
Well, on the topic of Victory Junction, I believe
Yeah.
some news got released this week.
Okay, so I've known about this for a little bit. For
Gavin had to keep
about
it
a
under
month now.
wraps.
Yeah, I had to keep it under wraps. And so this is part of the reason I'm going to Iowa this week and then Richmond next week. So Max Reeves is running a Victory Junction wrap for 3 ARCA races. He's running it at Iowa this week, then at Springfield, and then at Madison. And Cookout, the great people at Cookout, his family are the ones that paid for Victory Junction to be sponsored on his race car, as well as for Richmond for Ty Gibbs in the Cup race, which I think is super cool. Like, I am
I
so
think it's
excited
awesome.
for it.
If you
I sent
haven't
you the
seen it,
picture.
yeah, if you haven't seen it, go to social media, check it out on Victory Junction social media. It'll also
It's on
be
Joe
on Joe
Gibbs's
Gibbs
too.
Racing as well. It looks really cool. I like it's one of those designs that you think a lot of time went into this, and B, it was worth it. It looks really good. Big shout out to Cookout. If you don't know yet, if Gavin and I haven't spoken about it, I'm a huge
We
Cookout
both.
fan.
I love Cookout too, dude.
Like, look, if I get to do some racing on the side one day with doing my broadcasting, I hope I can get connected with Max Reeves and his family and see if we can work out a deal, because there's no better look than the Cookout car.
Yeah, and I just love the look of this Victory Junction car, and it's super.
It's
It's
unique.
just so cool. And here's my fun fact with this. So, for the Out of the Groove, Eric Eastip's YouTube channel, and he's part of the Daily Downforce, and they do a charity race on iRacing every year. I ran this exact paint scheme almost a year ago in a charity event, a year before Max and Ty get to run it in a real race. So, I'm just saying,
You
I was the
really
first person to drive this car.
you need to post that. You need to
Yeah,
show a photo of you from that race, because that's
yeah,
hilarious. And it's,
yeah.
hey, Gavin Grubbs debuted this scheme that'll be ran in the Cup Series.
On an iRacing charity event in the O'Reilly car at Hickory, of all places.
Wow.
I also
Absolutely.
out-qualified a few NASCAR O'Reilly Series drivers.
Look, if y'all don't know, Gavin may be in a wheelchair, but he is a wheelman on iRacing. He is very, very good. We have a lot of fun races together.
It's funny because I feel like I'm good until I race against somebody that's legitimately good, and then I get embarrassed.
Ah,
But no, it's fun,
uh,
especially when it's a track or a car that you like.
that's definitely true. So, yeah, Gavin will be doing some stuff this weekend in Iowa and then next week at Richmond. So we'll have another fun episode about his new adventures coming up. I feel like Gavin and I are always going somewhere. I think that's one of our favorite things, to get to tell you guys the story, which I guess I have some unofficial. Well, it's official, but it's kind of a thing. Gavin, I don't even know if I've told you this, which we'll have a very fun episode in 2 weeks. I will be calling the race, the Cars Tour race at Anderson in 2.5
Oh,
weeks' time.
sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So I got the call from Dan Parisi last week that Eric Brennan was going to be gone again, and they thought I did a good job at Dominion, and so they said, we'd love to have you back for Anderson, and I said, I'd love to be back.
Dude, that's big.
Yeah, it's definitely huge, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity. I'm just a guy that was from Mississippi trying to make my way in broadcasting, and I've been blessed by Jesus Christ and everything He's done in my life to be able to help me make connections in our inner what's the word? Oh my goodness, industry. There we go. goodness gracious, within our industry, all the connections I've been able to make, and I'm just so blessed and very humbled by it because I'm just a guy trying to make my way
Mhm.
and trying to make my steps in broadcast. I've had some great help from Eric Brennan and Blake. They've both helped me get this opportunity again, and so I couldn't be more thankful to them. Everyone of the ZMAX Cars Tour, Dale Jr., and I'm excited to make another splash.
Dude, I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be great.
I love that we talked about all our traveling, talked about the Cars Tour, wrapped it back into this because we still haven't really talked about what went down at North Wilkesboro,
Well,
other than we were both there.
right.
So
Well,
I
Thursday
know that
was qualifying day,
Thursday I got there because I was under the impression I was going to come hang out with you for a little bit, which we
which
did get
you
to see each
didn't
other.
communicate to me, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I just kind of assumed. So I get there Thursday, and it's literally 100 degrees outside. And
It
I don't know if
was
you've been to Wilkesboro, but
so
there's
hot.
there's no shade at Wilkesboro. So I get down. I'm in the pits. I'm looking for you. I see Jason Buddy. I go talk to them. I see our old Rafe Slate, our buddy there. He's selling some brake pads. Talking to them, and I'm like, "Where's Scott?" And they're like, "Oh, he's up in the booth in the air conditioning." And I'm looking. I'm trying to find you in the booth, trying to figure out which booth y'all are in. And I can't find you, and I'm just like, post on my Instagram story at Scott Shive. That AC must be nice up there.
Which was really funny. I thought that was a really funny dig. Well, originally, so I had talked to Blake and Eric, and I was, I'm thinking about, okay, I'm here. I think it'd be really good if I could meet Dale Jr., just to be able to make
Yeah.
a further connection within the Cars Tour. Obviously, him and Kevin Harvick, two of the majority co-owners when it comes to the ownership group, which now SMI has joined. And so I figured it wasn't going to hurt for me to introduce myself to him, just get my face in front of him and say, hey, my name's Scott. I work at Sobo. I was happy to do Dominion for y'all, which I'll get to it in a moment. I did get to meet him on Friday. But I hung out with Eric and
Nice.
Blake on Thursday, and we got to chat, hang out, because Eric and Blake, they're my mentors, but they've also become my
Yeah.
friends as well. So we were just hanging out like normal guys, talking about broadcasting, talking about the race, them getting prepped for qualifying. And it was getting around to qualifying for me. And I was about to say bye to them, and they were like, "Do you want to stay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And obviously I wasn't going to get on the headset. That's not what they were offering. But they were like, just staying. And it's always great. It was the first time I really got to sit in with the two of them calling a race, and even though it was qualifying. But there's always something to learn. And the two of them are extremely talented. And so any opportunity I can take, Gavin, to be able to learn from the two of them, I've got to take for my career. And so I told Gavin, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm actually staying up in the booth because they offered for me to sit in. So I did that.
But it was fun. So I still got to, talk to a lot of people, make some good connections down there. If it wasn't for that, we would have had Minnie Tyrell on the episode the other day.
That's very true.
So I mean, yeah,
It was very
so you got
worth
to
it.
hang
It
out
was
with
worth
them
it.
a little bit. Yeah, it was worth it. It was a good time just being down there, being around everybody. Qualifying days are interesting because it's so like obviously it's still everybody's working, but it's less. It's not a race day. There's not fans. There's not cameras everywhere. There's one or two cameras around, but it's just a time you get just to be there in everyone's natural environment.
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It was very fun. So yeah, I sat up in the booth for the rest of the day, and then this is when Chase and I were camping out. So that was actually no, we didn't start camping until Friday night. So Chase and I went home later that night to pack everything up. But we set up the campsite on Thursday night until about I think like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So it was a later night. But yeah, that was
Oh.
most of Thursday for me.
Yeah, no, Thursday and Friday was Cars
Hot
Tour race
again.
day. Well, awful but great. Really two good races. Yeah, Caden Honey got swept. Second
Yeah.
time in Cars Tour history that's been done, and he's done it both times.
It absolutely insane.
He's really just slowly getting better and better.
He is. And, going through that day for me, obviously he won race one with the pros, which I Gavin and I tweeted our picks for the races, and especially for the late model stock. And I think really both of us were thinking about that Honeycutt was too obvious of an option. And I think that's
Yeah,
really why I think we could have easily both picked Honeycutt. And this sounds like a defense, Gavin, of me saying, "Oh, I picked the wrong
fine.
guy." Which Kvapil did finish in, I think it was top 5 still, right?
Just almost a month ago at this point,
I
man.
know. I think it was still top 5. But anyway, I was like, man, I feel like Honeycutt's just too obvious of a pick. And
Mhm.
we're saying that, and then both of us are hearing from one of our friends down in the pits that he is like about to pass out, like extremely dehydrated, like all this stuff, and
And
that
they had somebody on deck
they
for
had
him to run.
somebody on
Lane Riggs.
deck,
Wasn't it
and
Lane Riggs?
it was, which I don't know how that
Yeah.
would work out with him being a Ford driver. It had a Toyota nose. I don't know how that
I
would have
don't think
worked
they're
out.
that worried about it for a late model
No,
race.
no, but anyway,
Ford and Toyota seem to be pretty lax about it because I'm pretty sure Harrison Burton is the relief driver for Penske and the Wood Brothers still
right.
as a
So
Toyota driver. So I
yeah,
mean, I think as long
which
as
is nice.
yeah, yeah,
So anyway, but I could not believe that he did it in his condition in the late model race.
yeah.
And it was again another dominating victory.
I mean, just went out there and did it.
Yeah, well, and he's performing great in the trucks. I think he's having a little bit
Mhm.
of a slow summer when it comes to the trucks. Obviously, he's now up to date. He's 100 points now behind Lane Riggs. So Lane Riggs has really turned up the heat ever since Charlotte, and then his win in
Yeah,
San Diego back to back. So I think Honeycutt definitely has to find something. But again, he's only going to lose, I think it's 25 points when we reset for the chase. So he's going to have some work to do, but it'll still be closer. I wouldn't by any means say that Lane Riggs is absolutely the favorite because I think Honeycutt hasn't truly lost anything, just having a slow summer. I think Riggs has the momentum.
yeah, and
You don't
I
have to
mean,
agree.
we've
You can
been.
disagree.
I mean, I think Lane Riggs is the favorite still, and I think that Honeycutt's doing fine. I just think that Riggs has a pretty big gap back to second. I think he has that team where he wants it. He's comfortable. He's what in his third year with Front Row now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's just in a more comfortable position than when Honeycutt's at Tricon right now. He's only in his first year with that team. They're still growing. They're still getting better. They're still improving. But Lane Riggs is, I mean, he's comfortable in that truck. He knows his team well. He knows that truck well. He's proven over the last 2 years that he knows how to get to victory lane consistently. And I just don't think it matters really who else is right behind him unless something crazy happens. I just think they're going to get into the chase and he's just going to jump out and dominate immediately once the chase starts, too.
Yeah.
I just don't see anybody closing that gap,
Yeah. Well, Chandler Smith,
personally.
he's right there. I think he could
Yeah.
definitely be a player in that. Obviously, he won at Wilkesboro that Saturday,
Mhm.
which was the hottest race I've ever been at. So after Friday, I fully became a race fan for the rest of the weekend. All of my
Mhm.
business work was done for everything I needed to on Friday, with everything broadcasting wise and day job
And this
wise.
is
So
where I started.
yeah,
That's
that's
where
where
I
you
started
started.
working.
Yeah. So, but we were in the stands, me and Chase and some of his friends. I had a towel around my neck, which saved the day. Absolutely saved the
Yeah.
day. But it was still, I mean, it was absolutely blazing. But this was the first time, I think it was the second race I've ever seen for the trucks. I think the first race I saw was Bristol a couple of years ago, but this was only the second ever
Yeah.
race I've seen for the trucks. And gosh, I love the truck series. It is so much
They
fun
put
to
on such a
watch.
good show.
They do. What do you think about the news with Chandler Smith? Won't be returning to Front Row next year. From what I've heard, it sounds like he could have an opportunity to get back into the O'Reilly series.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have not kept up completely with these rumors. I mean, up until this week, when I was at Victory Junction, I had no signal where I was at.
Right.
I had internet in the office, and we were working when we were in the office.
I
And
mean,
then
what's
down in
your
camp,
what's
no
your
signal.
speculations? I mean, that's what I've heard.
I have no idea.
I've heard that it could
I
be
mean,
one of the RCR seats, but then I've also heard as well that Carson Brown could be one, and there was someone else that might fill the 21. I can't remember. There's plenty of names being thrown around for those 2 RCR cars.
Yeah, and
But I would love to see
I can
Chandler
see.
Smith back in the O'Reilly series because I think he deserves it. I mean, he nearly made it
Yeah,
to the
he's a
championship
solid
four with
driver.
Gibbs back in, I think it was
Hmm.
2024. So it's clear
Yeah,
that he is a great driver when it comes to the O'Reilly series and maybe one day even the Cup series. So, but obviously the opportunity for him with Front Row Motorsports to go down to the Truck Series, I think it's proven what he wanted to prove in that he's stayed a race winner. He's contending for the championship even closer this year. And so I think he's definitely done well to stay relevant.
yeah. I can kind of see him going to RCR. I can picture that. Like he kind of has that brand that I can see him fitting with them. I, I can also see him going to. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at Haas factory team if Sam Mayer gets moved up to the Cup Series.
Do you think
I mean,
Sam
I can
Mayer
kind of
would replace Cole Custer?
being to go in that part. I think so.
I think so too.
Surprised to see
I think
Sam
Cole's not
Mayer
bad.
next year.
I think Cole's not bad, but he definitely hasn't proven
No,
anything.
all right. We had a little bit of a technical slip up there on our internet connection, but I was mentioning that Cole Custer is obviously underperforming right now, which I don't think is a huge deal. I think he's a very talented driver. I mean, he's a Cup winner. He's a solid driver, but I can see Haas factory team making that switch to Sam Mayer next year, moving him up to the Cup Series. I think Sam is one of the most underrated drivers in NASCAR, honestly, across all 3 series. I think he's underappreciated. I think he has an insane amount of talent.
I think he definitely does too. I think we saw it at Junior Motorsports, and it wasn't
Mhm.
everything the pairing was looking for. I think there definitely could have been more, but obviously Haas Factory team has some help from RCR. But even so, they're
Mhm.
they're not near RCR in terms of their performance, and I think him and Sheldon Creed are really getting more out of their cars than the car has itself. And so I think they're both doing really
Mhm.
well, obviously focusing in on Sam Mayer here. I wouldn't be surprised at that as well. So maybe he goes and fills one of those seats. Who knows? Maybe he goes up the Cup Series and fills that seat for Haas Factory team. Would Custer retire after that, or would he try to go back down again? I don't know. It happened once.
Well, he's not that old. I mean, he's what, 27, 28?
Yeah, and he's clear. I mean,
I mean,
when he went
I
back, when he went
he would
back to the
retire.
O'Reilly Series, he won a championship.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him doing bad. I think he's a driver. He's good enough to have a ride if he wants a ride.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't see him retire.
it's a good point. Back to Wilkesboro. Unless you had anything about Saturday, Sunday was a big night for the both of us.
Wow, dude, being on pit road, which I've been on pit road for a handful of Joey's wins. I was there all 3 championships. I've been there when he's won, so I'm not a stranger to it. But this one is one of the most emotional wins, probably the most exciting I've been to see him win outside of a championship.
Yeah.
Just because it's been over a year since he's last won. He was 20th in the standings at this time, and they just found speed. And he's always good at Wilkesboro. It's a track that really suits drivers like him, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, the guys that when you show up to a racetrack where you have to drive, the same 6 or 7, 8, 9 guys are the ones that are always in the top 10, always up front, always leading laps.
Yeah.
And he proved that he still got it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a no doubter of a win. And I mean, even in stage 1 before he got to the lead, I kind of started having a feeling we're the best car here right now. Like we're the best car here. And once they got to the lead and started pulling out to that huge lead they got there in stage 2, just the energy from the pit crew, everybody around the pit box, it just felt it was one of those races it just felt like we were going to win. I say
So,
we.
yeah. Well, I
I was
mean, hey,
down
you
there.
are a part of that team. You
Oh
are.
yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
on that team knows you. Like you are definitely a part of that team. It's very
Yeah.
interesting. Me and Chase talked about on Sunday with Atlanta. when
Mhm.
we knew we were like, okay, Penske always has good performance in Atlanta. And obviously Blaney went out and won that race, but Joey had some great runs, especially through the first two stages. And we are like, and I was like, man, that's a good shot in the arm for the team. You know, a good strong performance. It felt good for them. They ran good. And, you know, was thinking about Wilkesboro, and I was like, yes, of course, he runs great there. And he has a great car there. The team comes great there. But I was like, obviously, the team has been in a rut for the entire of the 2026 season. So I was like, you know, maybe it'll be another shot in the arm for the team, another good run. And when stage one, you know, stayed in the top 10, started advancing forward, and then, you know, started obviously the fight with SVG after Ty Gibbs getting the speeding penalty and finally takes the lead. And I was like, wow, okay, obviously has raw speed here. But then the laps kept clicking off and nobody was near him. I mean, he just kept going through lap traffic. Like, no
Mhm.
one was there. I mean, Hamlin made a charge at the end, but it was absolutely Joey's race. And Chase and I had talked about at the beginning of the week, and Chase has been to over 70 cup races. And he's
Oh
seen his
dang.
driver, Kyle Larson, win a ton of times. And he said, obviously, every race I go to, I want Kyle Larson to win. But he says, honestly, sometimes more than that, when there's someone I'm with that has never seen their driver win in person, I root for their
Yeah.
driver. And we had
Yeah.
joked about it in Atlanta, and I'm even getting a little emotional talking about it. When it was about 20 to go, I'm in my seat and we're sitting up in turn 1, and I'm like, please, like, this would be so cool. Like, I'm like, there's no way. And it got to 10 to go, and I didn't even tell anybody anything. I just started sprinting down the grandstands. And I wanted to be right at the flag stand because I thought that'd be really cool.
Mhm.
And I know Ryan Blaney gives away his flag, so I was like, what if Joey gives one away? I was like, I'm a total race fan. So I went down to the flag stand, and I got there with about 6 to go. And at this point, Hamlin was gaining a little bit, but I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just like, please no caution. Like, please no caution.
Yeah.
And we get to about 3 to go. And not embarrassed to say this, I started crying like 100% because ever since I started watching NASCAR, Joey has been my guy. And I've only,
Oh yeah.
that was only, I think, I want to say my seventh or eighth cup race. So I haven't been able to go to many in my years. Obviously, I'm from Mississippi, and 4 of them have been Talladega, just because it's what's close. But I couldn't believe it, and it was so cool to have him come across the finish line first. Me be there. I was right there when he was doing his burnouts and everything, and I was so emotional. And it was like I didn't even start crying like planning on it. It was just like I was overwhelmed because I was like, this is so awesome.
Nice.
I was like, I will never forget this moment.
Mhm.
And it was really cool. And then I texted Gavin, and I was like, there's no way. And I was like, I'm going to try to get into the infield, which I knew was, I've been around NASCAR. I know that's a pretty much impossible feat unless you have a pass. And so I stayed at the front stretch, and there were about 6 sheriff deputies, and I was like, not working at the front stretch, not even going to try that. I'm not getting arrested tonight. And so I went to the backstretch gate. There was no way in there. And then I was like, okay, the only other interest I know of is in turn 3, and that's where they were doing the post race show. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna go check out the post race show then. And I showed up pretty much right as Joey was getting there for his interview, and so I got to sit,
Oh nice.
behind. I was on TV doing all the stuff, and I was like, so I was behind, and it was really cool. I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but it was just cool to be there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was very very cool experience for me.
I got to ride the lift up
Dude, I saw
Victory
that
Lane.
photo, which is so cool.
It was so cool, and this is really funny. So I commented I'm on my Instagram caption said the first wheelchair to ride up the lift, and the guy commented. I know the guy. I've met him 2 or 3 times now. His dad's one of the driver development coaches at Toyota, and he's in a like a scooter. And he said, "Well, I rode my scooter up when Honeycutt won the other night," and I'm like, "Oh, come on, you gotta be a buzzkill in my Instagram comments."
That's funny.
It was just really funny because he was like, "Actually, as a matter of fact, you aren't." And I'm like, "Oh, come on, man." So
No.
that was funny, but no, it was great,
Yeah.
and it was just great. I I have a good time when I'm at the race, no matter what. But I mean, when I get to go hang out at Victory Lane, it's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. So, where do you want to go?
After that, earlier in the week, you spent a lot of time at dirt racing.
Yes.
So I want to hear just a little bit about that.
So,
and your experience at all these tracks.
It starts out with asphalt, I'll say. So we had planned to go to the opening of the Southern National Series, the dirt series, on Sunday at Withville.
Yeah.
And it got rained out. And so, on a whim, after my Sobo race, we decided on Sunday to drive the 5 hours to Atlanta. We got there 5 minutes before the race started and showed up in our seats before the race started. As you know, the race had a lot of rain. We stayed. Race ended at 2 in the morning. We got back to Chase's house at 8 a.m.
Oh.
Side quest worth it.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
So then I didn't have work, obviously. So I slept all day Monday. And then we went to Volunteer, which is in Tennessee. I think it's near 30 degrees of banking.
I know what track you're talking about. It's gnarly.
It's awesome. And the racing was amazing. The sunset was beautiful. We sat over in turn 4. You can overlook and you can see the mountains. And obviously you're really high up. So you really don't get any dirt on you at all. Which was the same when I went to Magnolia Motor Speedway.
Oh, nice.
My first ever dirt track. So it was a very similar evening. And it was just so cool to watch them all the way down there in the bowl. Honestly, one of our favorite parts, which that was my first time getting to see dirt super late models in person, which Gavin and I have talked plenty of times on here that dirt super late models are my favorite type of dirt racing, and it was so fun to get to watch them in person. So, and Dale McDowell was there.
I don't think there's a race car that's not fun to watch in person, honestly.
That's true. Well, you know what? You want to know what the funnest thing that was that night?
What?
The 100-lap enduro to end the night. So,
oh, no.
No. So, Chase does this thing, and it's one of the funnest games, and you and I will have to play it. They do it with dirt racing. And so, basically, for each event, all the classes, you pick a driver. And everyone has to pick a different driver, and you can only pick the pole sitter once throughout the night. It includes super late model qualifying, but in each thing with qualifying, heats, other divisions, and the main feature, you pick one driver between them all. It's different every time, and it could be the same if you don't. But anyway, you don't have to pick one driver for the whole night. But you score it off of points. So, and it's off of all the drivers you pick. So if the driver you pick finishes in front of all the others of everyone else that they picked, you get blah, blah, blah amount of points, the most points. Say there are 3 of us, you get 3 points. Now, if your driver wins the feature, you get a bonus point. So, but anyway, you do that throughout the night, and you add them up. So it helps people that have never watched dirt racing get into it because they have somebody to root for. Yeah. And it's fun to just kind of get to boast and watch and battle between each other. So that was one of the funnest things. So we did it for the enduro race too. And we don't know who these drivers are. That's one of the fun parts too. You have no idea like who's going to have speed, who's going to be slow. And so Chase picks a guy. And by the way, for this enduro race, when they did practice 3 hours earlier, there were only 5 of them. By the time the feature started, there were 15 of them. They kept showing up through the gates like all night. And so we picked our drivers, and Chase picks this random one. 3 laps into the race, there is a spinner up in turn 2. And for enduro, there's no cautions unless a driver's in a precarious position, which then they stop everybody, help, race resumes. So a driver spins in turn 1. This is on like lap 2 of the race. Everyone, like we see this guy go around. And here comes this car in the top of turn 1, not paying attention at all, slams head on into this car. And the best part, the 2 best parts about it, the car that hit the car that was stopped was Chase's driver that he picked, of which that car would then sit there for the next 60 laps. The second best thing was that when his driver made contact, it bump started the other car, and he was able to get back going in the race. And it was just one of those things where it was one of those things that kept compounding, and we were dying laughing in the stands.
It just kept getting funnier and funnier.
It was amazing. So that was a really funny deal. So that was probably one of the best parts of the weekend. On Tuesday we'd go to Harris, which is a
Dude,
completely flat track, and it is very fat. It's very wide for a racetrack. There's a lot of racing surface, and this was a night we definitely got dirty.
Yeah.
There was a lot of dirt flung on us, but it was really cool the 2 nights to get to go from really high banking to completely flat. We played the game again. It was a ton of fun. It was in a beautiful area, but it was fun to just go sit and watch some dirt racing.
Yeah.
So the Enduro that night was pretty fun, but nothing beat the Enduro at Volunteer.
No, that's awesome. That's great.
So,
well, speaking of dirt racing,
yeah,
we got some headlines to catch up on.
yes.
And then we're going to jump into what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Brandon Shepard, I think this was 2 weeks ago, won the Prairie Dirt Classic. I don't know if you got to watch the highlights of the end of that race.
I didn't.
Brandon Shepard, Hudson O'Neal, Bobby Pierce, for like 30 laps, battled for the lead, basically 3 wide.
Wow.
At Fairbury. I mean, it was awesome. Brandon Shepard finally got to where he was just out front in front of the 3 of them, ended up winning, taking his $50,000 check, driving his race car through the bank drive-through.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite traditions in all of
short
track
yes. I remember you talking about this.
Driving the check through the bank drive-through at Fairbury.
So cool.
Like, that is, to me, that is my favorite tradition.
Yeah.
Indiana Sprint Week, at the start of it, Justin Grant gets USAC career win, number 100 across all 3 series in the sprint car at the Indy Dirt Track. I mean, 100 wins. I don't care what series you're in. If you win 100 races, you're that guy.
Yeah. No,
I think that's that number. No matter what discipline you're racing, whatever it is, when you hit 100 wins, you're in the right. No matter what.
Yeah. No, I definitely think so. Great. What a cool accomplishment for Justin Grant.
Mm-hmm. Bob Weichert Memorial, $100,000 to win up at Port Royal. Gio Scelzi wins $100,000 and his first high limit win of the season.
Yep.
Huge for him.
First for Spire.
Huge for that Spire team.
Which, I got to say, that car looks great. He's 3rd in points.
Riding the Dente.
So.
Riding the Dente.
Golly.
Yeah, he's doing great. But yeah, dirt has just been, like I said, when we're a month without recording, there's only so much we can mention.
Yeah.
And I feel like these were the things that we had to mention.
No, I definitely agree.
Now this week, Thursday, tomorrow, well, I guess today if you're listening, I'm going to be at the Knoxville 360 Nationals opening night. So I want to look at this right here with you.
Okay.
You got the picture and the rundown of the entry list for the 360 Nationals. I'm going to let you get first pick each night.
Okay.
Because I'm going to let pick here the picks.
Well, this is the Thursday and Friday one?
360. Yeah, August 6th and 7th.
Okay, I see it.
113 cars are entered, by the way.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
a handful of big names.
Well, so okay, if you have a 410, do you and this might sound like a dumb question, do you just put a different engine in it for the 360?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just throw a different engine.
Interesting. So I was going to say, and I wonder if that's what a lot of these drivers do. Because I see Aaron Reitzel in there, I see Scelzi, I see
some of the bigger
Day, Holmes.
I think some of the bigger teams are obviously like Spire and Silva with 57. Corey Day's probably going to have 2 cars. I know Aaron Reitzel had 2 cars last week when he ran the weekly show.
Well,
because they ran the 360 and the 410, so they just brought 2 cars.
You might not
say.
It
is the same car for you guys.
Yeah. You might not say, the 360, or some people, not you, the 360 and 410 are that much different to drive, but I believe that they are. And so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Dason Pursley for Thursday night.
Okay. That is. I'm not against that pick.
I feel like Pursley hasn't had the most amazing year in his first year with this number 9 car, but maybe the 360, throwing it back to some of his earlier days in his career, helps him out.
Yeah. And I mean, he was always the non-wing. Much that's going to help him, but I like the pick.
What you got?
I mean, you left 2 obvious picks for me.
I left plenty of obvious picks.
And so it's like, do I want to go with the safe pick, or do I want to go with the outside of the
See,
box
I think
pick?
it's fun to not. Like, that's why I went with Pursley.
Okay. So I'm going to outside of the box pick with you. I'm going to go James McFadden.
Okay.
That 21 car, he has been fast in it all year out west when he runs it. And then, he's going to go back to Australia. He's definitely the best driver in Australia when he comes and runs sprint cars over here. I'm taking James McFadden. He's won plenty of big races over here for my Thursday pick.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Friday night.
All right, let's see. Who do we got? I see Rico on there. Who else is over here? There's not as many big, quote-unquote, big names. So I will say that.
Ryan Brown and Ryan Timms are dominant at Knoxville during the regular season.
I was legit.
I
was gonna say Timms. That's exactly who was sticking out to
Casey
me.
Kane's racing.
So I guess I am going out with an easy one on Friday.
Okay, you going Ryan? You take Ryan Timms. I'm gonna go Tyler Courtney.
Okay, that's who I was thinking of as my backup.
Yeah, if you're okay, so I got Courtney and McFadden. You have Timms and Pursley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at you picking me, being the big midget fan that I am. You go out there and pick Timms and Pursley. Look at you. I've taught you well. I've taught you well.
You have. You definitely have. So.
So. Do you have anybody you want to pick overall? I mean, I still feel like Kyle Larson.
What, for the win on Saturday?
Favorite. No, for the guy. Rico won it last year. Just can't pick against Kyle.
It's definitely difficult.
And how Corey Day is going to make it Saturday. I'm just trying to figure out how Corey Day is going to make it work Friday.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Saturday, I mean.
I have no idea. You know what? He's on a roll. And I may be looking. Is the other one come into this? The other one we got for next week, or is this just this week?
No. This Saturday's just this is just this weekend.
Okay,
so we can pick next weekend next.
Am I not seeing Anthony Macri on this week's?
Anthony Macri is he's there this week. He's there Friday.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going with Macri overall.
7:39 Okay,
he's on a roll right now.
And that's what's crazy. This is the 360, the smaller race of the 2 weekends. And you look at this entry list, you're like, dang, this is loaded.
Yeah.
Also, with Silver Crowns there too, top 2 NASCAR series and ARCA, everybody is going to be in Iowa this weekend.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, so I'm going to be having a great time.
Yeah. Who's your overall pick?
I'm going to be talking to everybody. For Saturday?
Yeah.
Man, if you're going Macri, I don't want to pick Kyle Larson, but that's who I think is going to win.
Do it.
So I'm going to go Kyle Larson.
Okay.
I'm going to go Kyle Larson. And I know that it's kind of a cop-out pick just because he's who he is, but man, he's just...
Well,
I don't see him having any problem winning.
I think we can save our picks for next week for purely social media. When we had fun.
Okay,
we'll see how they perform this weekend, and then we'll go from there.
All right, I like that. So that's about all I have for dirt. You want to do Badass and Boneheads of the week?
Yes, I do.
I'll let you lead off.
I will start out. I'll go ahead and we'll get into the Bonehead, and I'm trying to remember who I even said mine was because now I can't remember. Do you remember?
Well, if you need to look,
Did you write it down? Did you write it down?
No, I didn't write it now, but I know who he said. If you need to look over on your Discord menu over at the right side. His name's over there.
Oh, who did I say? Oh, yes.
Said,
Thank you. So we're going to talk about it here in a minute, just about the race, not this. But mine's going to have to be one of our early guests, Chase Burrow, in being involved in some form of
Sorry, bro.
fashion in over half the cautions for the Hampton Heat. So I love Chase. We love Chase, but bro is just in it everywhere.
It was not his night.
It's not his night.
It was not.
Which
Alright,
which
you want
was
me to go
sad
by-
because he's a great
Yeah.
guy at Langley.
Yeah, I mean, great driver too. Just had bad luck. My favorite part of it, though, is just because watch party that Landon Huffman, Doug Barnes, and Parker Lynn were having. Their reactions to every time he would wreck or get spun out
It was
or
very
be
funny.
involved in something, they just kept building and building. It just kept getting funnier. So that made it great for me.
No,
Or not great, but made it funny.
it did. It did.
Um,
What
yeah,
about your bonehead?
You want to do your badass first?
No, you go ahead and do your bonehead.
Well, we're the topic of B main guest here. Go with what happened at Sobo. I know some things, track units, so I'll just keep it simple. He needed a caution, threw his water bottle out the window, got caught, and that's a no-no.
And I was
You
losing
can't
you
do
a little bit there. Who are you talking about?
And oh yeah, no, I was talking about Landon
There
Pimbleton.
you go.
I was saying he threw his water bottle out the window.
I want to make sure
needed
the
a
audience
caution.
heard.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
I know you. Yeah, and I know that you can't speak on stuff like that goes on at Sobo because you're announcing there. So I'm just gonna try to keep it simple, straight.
Yeah, I gotta be bipartisan. I gotta be bipartisan, but it definitely was something that happened this weekend. And so if you wanna look at it, you can go check it out on Flow or on our South Boston Speedway social media. So on to badass. Mine has got to be our boy Carson Kvapil. Picks up that first career victory and in excellent fashion at Indianapolis. And oh my gosh, was it just amazing to get to watch him. I was extremely not emotional this time about it because I actually got it spoiled for me by my very own friend Chase Folsom. So yeah, that was a little upsetting, a little frustrating. So, but I got to eventually go back and watch it a couple hours later, and it was really, really awesome to get to watch.
But yeah, no, I was thinking about you that whole time watching the end of that run, and I had texted you said, "Yo, did you watch the O'Reilly race?" And you said, "Not yet, but I know who won."
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wish we would have been getting to watch that one live.
I know. But it's like I just didn't know when it was going to happen, but it really made me happy just in that he is much more secure now and much more confident too. So
yeah, I mean, that's what he needed was the stability.
Because
nobody was questioning his talent.
No.
They were just questioning when's he gonna win? When's that win gonna happen? When's it gonna break through?
Yep.
And you said someone's career win number one was your badass. Mentioned it earlier segment. Career win number 100. Hey, I dropped my signal. Oh, you're back. I'm back.
We're good. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're going in and out. Gavin's bandwidth is being used.
I don't know, guys, but we're here. No, but Justin Grant getting that career win number 100 was. I mean, as soon as that win happened, and I saw that, I was like, okay, when we come back to record, badass of the week right there.
Yep.
It's one of those moments. I was like, yeah, that's a no doubter moment.
He already knew. So, I guess we can talk about the Hampton Heat a little bit, and then we'll be pretty close to wrapping it up here soon.
Hampton Heat, anything Indy that you want to talk about while we're talking about our badass and mentioning Carson? If there's anything else? I mean, 2 races at IRP, nothing. Yeah, going into Indy, just talked about Carson Kvapil getting that career win number 1. Corey Heim already career win number 2. Did it in his 15th start, and I want to say outside of SVG because he did it on 2 road courses, and this isn't like a dig at him at all. But I think the fastest driver to 2 wins since AJ Foyt.
Yeah, which is
Back in the
absolutely
60s.
crazy. And I think a good point was brought up, Gavin, in that people were saying, oh, well, he has extra time to prepare because he's not racing full time yet. And I think that's true, but I really don't think that's going to have a really big effect next year. I think he's continuing to get more and more seat time in this 7th gen NASCAR Cup car. And so when it comes to next year, he's getting that time to learn and develop and prepare now. So when he gets it to where it's every week next year, I really don't think that's going to be a big deal.
No, I don't at all.
People were saying it might be, and I'm like, I don't think so.
No, because, you got to think, he's getting more time to prepare between each start, but everybody else has years in this car. He's got 1.
Right. Well, and I think again, like we talked about, his development, I think is one of those that you'll look at and say, wow, it was just pretty much picture perfect. Like you look at Zilich and all the struggles he's having, and that you wonder how it could have been. Of course, his is a little different. Like he started out, he did a lot of go-kart racing and formula racing and all that, but you wonder if last year they should have done more Cup starts while keeping him full-time in a rally. Now, of course, he said himself it wouldn't, when him and SVG did the Dale Jr. download, he said it wouldn't have helped him to just stay in O'Reilly, but I wonder if it would have helped him to keep his confidence up to stay full-time over there while doing more and more Cup starts and just getting him more and more comfortable in that car.
Speaking of Zilich right now, correct?
Yes, talking about Zilich, yes.
Okay, yeah.
So, but Corey Heim, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch him and Hocevar do battle. I hope Hocevar continues to get up to the front. Hasn't won, obviously, since Talladega. And Hocevar's just here and there for me. He really is. Like, he's the fastest of all of those Spire cars, but the speed just still seems to be kind of here and there. So, with the performances. So, he is fun. He's goofy. I think it is absolutely a personality that NASCAR needs. But you do wonder sometimes if he's distracted or, what work's going in behind the scenes, because I still see that inconsistency from him and the team. So you'd think after 2.5 years now, it would be more boom, 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 boom.
And he similarities early. And when I'm looking at early, Corey Heim, it's early Matt Kenseth, the Jimmy Johnson, early Carl Edwards. Like, he is there. He's there to go to work, and he's already winning.
Right.
And there's nothing extra with Corey Heim other than getting in the race car and going.
Right.
There's not, and I'm not saying this is bad what Hocevar's doing. Hocevar's growing the sport,
and we need
more
the personality,
than anybody, probably
absolutely.
Since Dale Jr.
Yeah.
So I'm not digging it, and we need that. I'm just saying, from a pure racing perspective, you got to look at Corey Heim, and like the results between the two of them are speaking for themselves. And yeah, I know 2311 is a little bit more of an established team than Spire, but still, like, there's a performance gap between the two of them that's already starting to show up.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we can go into our last little section. Normally asphalt's normally up first, but we kind of moved everything around. We just wanted to talk about the Virginia Triple Crown because obviously we talked about things with the Sobo 200 and Caden Honeycutt dominating that for himself, but obviously did not compete in the Hampton Heat. He's doing everything with his NASCAR truck stuff.
And another Caden.
Another Kvapil, another Caden win. I actually texted that to Blake McCandless after the race. I said, both winners of the 2 Virginia Triple Crown races are named Caden. So, and obviously it was a great day for the Kvapils. That was the same day that Carson got his first career win in the O'Reilly series. But It kind of, I wouldn't say it fell into Caden's hands. You know, he was there in the top 10 all night,
Mhm.
but definitely I think Brendan Queen probably would have gone on to win that race. But Aiden Millette, after a little bit after the halfway break, made a dicey move into one, got into the left rear of the 03 and spun him around. And Queen would eventually get back up to the fifth position, but there's just not enough time for him. But I think at the end of the day, he was definitely the fastest car.
Yeah. And it just seems like every time he's gotten in a late model, really, that Brendan Queen has just been almost winning.
Yeah,
He's been almost there.
I think he'll get. I would be surprised if we don't see him in
Oh
victory
yeah, I'm not
lane
worried
in
about
his
it.
other starts this year. He's got 4 more starts.
Yeah, I'm
So
not worried about it.
no, I wouldn't either. But I think it's doing well for his confidence
Mhm.
too. You know, Ram is continuing to move in the forward direction with him and with their team. So it was cool to get to talk to him about Chris Rice. It was cool to get to talk to Minnie earlier this week about Chris Rice and the team. And I think we're really getting a
Mhm.
great view to the inside of Ram and Colleague and everything that's going on in there, and just that everyone feels like they're just continuing to work on things and improve. And I think he's showing that as well. There's no question about Queen's talent.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, he's great.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't have a whole lot on the Hampton Heat,
no,
honestly,
I thought it was
other
a
than
race that
how big
happened.
a win it was
Langley is fun.
for the Kvapil family.
Yeah, I think the Quapples were the big story of the weekend. So Gavin, he's been having a little bit of those internet issues, so we shouldn't have that for the next episode. If you didn't know by now, or tell, I'm in another location. This is my girlfriend's room, and I set up my desk in here and everything. So yeah, those are not my album covers and all that stuff. So, but anyway, we've been glad that you've joined us for episode 38. We'll be back very soon. We'll be back. We'll be recording another episode next Monday with another guest. It'll be a guest from the dirt side. We haven't had a dirt guest since Hudson O'Neill back in March, so that's going to be a ton of fun. And then we'll be back the week after that with another great race update video, race recap episode. So thank you all for joining us. We're glad that you've watched as well. Go check out our social medias. We'll be posting clips all week. But for Gavin, and my name is Scott, we'll be back again in a little bit's time on the B Main.
All right, see you guys.